So hello everyone. It is so nice to be here. My name is Severine Obertelli, and I'm actually holding the masterclass today about mindful time management. So I'm a coach, I'm a consultant. I've started actually being a coach and a consultant not very long ago. So for me, this is all a very new adventure because I was working in the corporate industry actually for, in the travel and hospitality for a technology company. So it's great actually to be here and to share actually this new adventure with you and the tips that I can give you around mindful time management, which is certainly a very, very, very important topic, especially considering the different and challenging times that we are facing at the moment, especially in the industry, because of course, you know, all of you live in the industry. But like anything, what I would like you to take out of this is that to see that, yes, we have, of course, you know, always challenges, but, you know, mindful time management is really about converting these challenges as well into opportunities, and opportunities both for your life, but as well for your business. So I've introduced myself, and actually I forgot to say, I live in Birmingham, UK, and I am French Italian, which is an interesting mix. So I'm sure that, you know, in the group in WHTT, it's an amazing group with loads of women and men, of course, that support equality that are based all around Europe. So hello to everyone. So I can start now my presentation, and I will. So I apologize already in advance, because with all of this technology, trying to be, of course, you know, you know, always on top of everything is sometimes it's quite difficult. But let's look at the outcome of today. Okay, what I would really like you to take out from this webinar is you to be more aware of how to manage your time more mindfully. Okay, so we will go more in detail on that. But I would just like, you know, I don't know if I can see your comment. I think I should be able to actually see them. I'll try to click actually to see if I can see live comments somewhere. But please just reflect on that. What does it mean for you to manage your time more mindfully? Because already we are building the awareness, but as well, what does it mean managing your time more mindfully? Because, you know, we are all very productive, but what does it mean to be more mindful? But as well, the other outcome of today will be that you will be able to plan better your day according to the outcome that you want to achieve. Because I asked you before to reflect about what it was to manage your time more mindfully, but actually, to me, it is to be more mindful means actually that you actually are able to get to the outcome that you want to achieve. So that's what I'd like you to get out from today. So please, yeah, I'm just open to any questions and any comments as I would go through the presentation. So here are some pictures that I've put up. Okay. Up until a few months ago, I was working in the corporate sector, and I was leading actually the commercial office of a technology company called Maxton, and I was responsible for sales and marketing pretty much worldwide. And I worked for the company 7 years. That gave me amazing opportunities, and I've met some incredible people. And that's one things that, to me, about being mindful about my time has always been able to actually get really great results. So I've managed to actually triple the turnover of the company while I was employed, and actually at the same time meeting some of the most amazing people that I still know now, in terms of colleagues, friends, clients that then became friends. So a great sort of lifestyle in terms of traveling, in terms of like opportunities, and in terms, of course, of my drive and of my willingness to achieve on that. I've always been driven in that, but what has actually been able to keep me, let's say, very, very focused onto what I could achieve, has been actually the other side of me, that I'm also a yoga teacher. Okay, so that's where mindfulness come into the time management, because of course all these beautiful pictures are really nice, and I've had beautiful experiences and so forth, but as well it has been, as you all know, it has been, it is hard work. I mean, I used to travel a huge amount, sometimes in periods it was even 3, 4, 5 times a month, sometimes for a few days, traveling with time differences and so forth, plus of course the pressure of the results, the pressure of wanting to do well, the pressure of always achieve and so forth. So what I had as my balance in my life was actually a strict, let's say, routine, in terms of meditation, and in terms of when I could as well, I was actually teaching just more by, let's say, as a hobby than anything else. But to me, it was a great way actually to just express myself in a different way. I would say probably express that more kind of female side of myself, that more kind of subtle, that more as well kind of freedom, that sense of freedom that maybe when you are in business meeting and so forth, you can have fun, but you can't necessarily express yourself, or at least I didn't feel I could express myself in that same way. So that was like the side that actually kept me going and so forth. But not just in terms of mental health, it also helped me massively in terms of my physical sort of performance, and as well, my fitness. Because of course, when you travel a lot, there is a lot of impact on your body and so forth, a lot of stress, a lot of things. And if you don't look after yourself, if you don't learn how to look after yourself, it is very difficult. So I kind of learned, and I became a yoga teacher really to look after my body. But what then it gave me was being a lot more than that, because I realized as I studied through things that actually the yoga life is not necessarily what it is, to just be, just to do nice poses and so forth. But it's actually a mindset, and that's what I'm going to explain to you a little bit in this masterclass. So let's have a look at this other picture, because of course I've been a great, I have great fun in business, and I'm a really driven businesswoman, and I love to get results and so forth. However, my joy have always been my children. So, it has been difficult as well sometimes, of course, when you have a very busy job, and sometimes there is endless hours to work, and you travel and so forth. It has been sometimes difficult. However, I still managed, again, because of my mindset, actually to get a balance, and actually to achieve, somehow, to have a beautiful family, some beautiful children, do my yoga course, finish even a master and so forth. And all of that with joy, because most of the choices that I took them not just for myself, but I took them for the well-being of my children as well, both financial but also emotional and physical, of course. We did a lot of travel, a lot of experiences and everything. And still now, they are now in furlough and they are still upstairs, that they are hidden in their bedrooms, because I told them to, so not in furlough, they are still off school, sorry. But it's such a pleasure to be as well working, working from home and having them. So let's talk, let's start. What does it mean to be more mindful about your time? So I've asked you that question before in the outcome. Okay, I will give you some, 4 points of, which I think are very, very important in being mindful about your time. If you are more mindful and more aware of how you spend your time, it means that you have more time to do what you love. And who doesn't want that? It's definitely something that we all want. And how often do we say, oh my God, I have to do this. I have to do that. I must do this. I need to do that. Okay. But if you are more mindful about your time, then you realize that you have more time to do what you love. Also, the consequence of that is that because you have more time to do what you love, you're also not stressed, or certainly a lot less stressed. Okay, because why are you stressed a lot of the time? It is because you don't get what you love, you don't get what you want, you are frustrated about something, you're frustrated about a situation, we are frustrated at the moment because we are isolated, our personal freedom is actually impacted. There are stressful moments, but if you have time to do what you love, if you find time to do what you love, then actually your stress level goes down. But also you have time to look after yourself. So often, actually, we are focused onto what we want. We kind of in this chase of, a chase of going towards to catch a goal or something which seems very, very far away. And especially, I've been working in sales for all my life, and it's always, there is always higher targets, always higher sort of expectations in terms of results and so forth. And sometimes because of that, because we're really willing to actually to achieve and to do well and to be appreciated and to be successful, then what we do is that you don't have time to look after yourselves. We just kind of put ourselves second in that. But also, being mindful about your time means that you can look forward to what you have to do next. Okay, I don't know if it has happened to you, but sometimes you might feel, oh, I'm really not looking forward to do that, just because, again, you just think, I need to do this, I have to do that. It's kind of, there is that mindset which is all about the impositions which are coming from the outside. Okay, but of course, being more mindful is not about that, because when you are more mindful about what you do and how you spend your time and how you manage it, at that moment, then you've got a plan. You know what you are actually doing. So you really kind of are more joyful and more satisfied, and you look forward to what you have to do next. Okay. So let's see, because I told you I was working in corporate, and then I was a yoga teacher. I told you about my family, but one thing, I wrote a book. Okay, and I wrote a book. It's out now on Amazon, and only available as an ebook at the moment. It will be published in print in the next few months. But it was an amazing adventure. I decided, okay, it was the right time for me actually to do a change, and this change meant that I wanted to leave my corporate job. Definitely, it was not for me anymore. I wanted to have, to actually use my experience and all my knowledge, and as well all the benefits actually that yoga has given to me, which are way, way, way beyond the mat and practicing and doing beautiful poses and being fit, but in terms of as well of mindset and so forth. And that this has been a beautiful adventure. One of the most beautiful thing that has happened to me is that I've put this picture up with this lady, which I don't know if some of you knows her, but her name is Marianne Williamson. And she used to be a US presidential candidate last year in the US, but she's also a best-selling author. And she wrote beautiful books about love, about mindfulness, and her philosophy has been, the ideas that she's been putting forwards in terms of, like, for example, parent leaders, and putting, different values and into our life, to me were very, very inspiring. So when she came when I did the pre-release of my book, and she came and congratulated me, I was amazed. I was amazed, and I was amazed by what she said, by the fact that mindfulness is so needed, and so forth, and so that I just wanted to share that with you, because again, you will explain why I'm sharing that with you, because what I've been able to achieve is that, despite I never wrote a book before, however, I kind of managed to achieve bestseller status in a few countries with it, which is to me an amazing achievement. And again, why did I do that? Well, it's probably, I don't know, but I'll let you judge to it, just have a few thoughts of it. I'm determined. I have, well, to an extent, I've always achieved what I wanted in life. I've always set kind of goals that sometimes people were telling me, oh, you are a little bit crazy, you just kind of have got so much energy to put into these sort of things. But yeah, I mean, I like to dream. That's probably one of my thing. But certainly what allowed me as well to achieve bestseller status is, well, I will read this quote from my book. Time is what ticks the path of our life. Therefore, the qualitative aspect or satisfaction of what we are living in the present is the result of the seeds that have been planted in the past by each of us, in our daily activities and in our thoughts. And the future is what we create as we connect to the quality of the present, how much we are able to express who we are and what we want, and how much we are coherent and act towards who we want to become. So what does that mean? Well, it means that, first of all, we need to have some sort of goals, right? But as well, it's not just about goals, but to me, it's about the satisfaction. It's about actually the expression. And it's about the humbleness of actually planting little seeds, having the patience to actually, well, wait for them, and then with love, seeing that they actually can blossom. It's a little bit like with children, okay? You don't have to control on what is happening necessarily around you, like you don't have control on your children. However, that what is happening, in them, because they are kind of your creation, your children, or your creation, let's say, well, it's your gift that has been given to you. The same thing is about your life. So what do you want to do with it? It's actually your decision, and it's about being coherent and act towards who you want to become. Okay, so they are kind of like big words, they seem, okay? But they are not big words, really, because if we want to achieve results, okay, results are based, about, to me, I divide them in 4 aspects, okay? Well, the main one is well-being. That's what we all want. I don't know. I would love to be able actually to ask you, but who doesn't want well-being? Okay, but not only that, but what is well-being? So well-being is emotional well-being. So you want to feel good with yourself, right? It's financial well-being, because of course you need to, well, we all need money to pay bills and to do what we want. It's relational well-being. So it's about sharing experiences and your life and your time with actually the people that you love. And also it's physical well-being, because none of us wants to be ill. And it's not, sometimes it's not a choice, but it also sometimes not necessarily we actually are aware of the consequences that as well, our actions and our mindset can have as well on our body. So let's have a look. Next slide. Okay, so I've got a few questions now. And I would like, before I carry on with my presentation, that you answer that. Do you often feel stressed, anxious, and worried about the future? So just note them down. It's only 4 questions. So just put a yes or a no, okay, to the first one and so forth. So do you often feel stressed, anxious, worried about the future? Yes or no? Okay, then the second question, are you over 35? Yes or no? Again, it's not an ageist sort of, masterclass, but it's just some points of reflection. Then, third question, do you set a clear outcome when you wake up every day? Yes, no. Fourth, do you go to bed feeling satisfied with what you have achieved in the day? Yes or no? Okay, so I'll go through them again just very quickly. Do you often feel stressed, anxious, and worried about the future? Yes, no. Are you over 35? Yes, no. Do you set a clear outcome when you wake up each day? Yes, no. Do you go to bed feeling satisfied of what you have achieved in the day? Yes, no. Okay, so now I'll make you reflect on something. First question, do you often feel stressed, anxious, and worried about the future? Well, it's difficult not to be at the moment, it seems, but I can tell you something. I'm sharing this picture because our brain is funny. We have, I mean, it's a great and amazing tool, but when we get stressed, what's really happening when we feel like we don't feel safe, or we are worried about the future or so forth, our brain goes in survival mode. So we've got a beautiful human creative brain with a lot of capacities, but it is as if the logical part of the brain, the smart one, so the prefrontal cortex, actually just goes offline, just does not work whatsoever. So we just work with the mammal part of our brain. So, some people call it the dinosaur brain, but it's only that kind of brain that tells us, well, you just need to run. And, when the brain tells us you just need to run, that means that we go into overthinking and we go into some sort of stress. But not just that, it just goes and impact as well our body. It it might take us down in terms of depression, or it might take us down as well in terms of, actually physical ailment. But so it goes and impact as well our immune system. So like talking about, for example, the COVID, if we are really worried as well about it, of course, it doesn't help, because maybe we are prone to get it, but if we are worried that we're prone to get it as well, it will certainly not help in that. So that's the first bit of information for you. And I've just really streamlined it. Second, are you over 35? So are you over 35? Dr. Joe Dispenza, who's a neuroscientist and was very famous and has done a lot of research on the brain and on our capacities in terms of neuroplasticity and so forth. What he says from his research, he says that 95% of who we are by the time we are 35 years old is a memorized set of behaviors, emotional reactions, unconscious habits, hardwired attitudes, beliefs, and perception that function like a computer program. Okay, so wow. So that means that, I've said to you, we are not kind of creative when we are in fight-flight mode. But not just that, by the age of 35, we are just the result of what it is, the hypnotic suggestion that we've actually received either from our upbringing, from the television, from the conditioning, from the news, from anything that actually we hear outside. So is that kind of, impacting our freedom and our actually ability to thrive? Yes, it definitely can. It definitely can. So, do you set up a clear outcome when you wake up at each day? Well, let's talk again about personal well-being. If you don't set up a clear outcome, it is very, very difficult. And you know that. I mean, you know about SMART goal, but I didn't use SMART goals on purpose. Here I'm talking about outcome, because outcome has got a more qualitative aspect to it. Because the starting point of all achievement is desire. I'm mentioning another quote from Napoleon Hill, which is the author of Think and Grow Rich. And the starting point of achievement is desire. Keep this constantly in mind. Weak desire brings weak results, just as a small fire makes a small amount of heat. All right. So it's the same thing. So I was saying about an outcome. So if you don't set up like an intention or an outcome at the beginning of the day for what you want to achieve that day, then you won't be able to achieve it. But we are maybe very good about setting outcomes, organizing a diary about the to-dos and so forth. However, when we are so focused on that, and when we work in a fight and flight mode, then we go and forget the emotional and relational and physical well-being. Maybe we are going and running because we know we want to achieve and make the business really successful. However, we forget to feel good. We forget actually to be nice to people, or actually we forget that day to eat. We forget to actually enjoy something, So the outcome, when I set my day, I always set my day to an outcome, which is a qualitative outcome, which is, which we will go through that a little bit more in the next few steps. So do you go to bed feeling satisfied with what you have achieved in the day? Again, that's the basis to actually start your day in a positive way. And that is when I said setting a positive outcome. First of all, is learning to respect your needs. Okay? It's always part of our nature to want more. And our minds are completely unlimited. I mean, we always want more. We would always want to get to the next goals. We always want, like now we're already thinking, I don't know about you, but I'm already thinking next time I can go on holiday, next time I can do this, next time I can do that, because especially now there are so many limitations to our freedom. And thoughts, they pop into our head at a speed that is unmeasurable. But still, we need to respect our needs. You know, we need to respect our needs. We need to become aware of our mindset. And it's really a step-by-step approach, okay? Because things, you know, we don't build, you know, castle in just one day. You know, it's only step by step, because, you know, what are the impact on our physical body? Otherwise, they can be quite, you know, quite devastating, as I mentioned before. You know, so are you ethical towards yourself? So what when I was in my corporate role, I will share something very private with you. Well, I got, at one point of my career, I got into burnout. And at another time, I went into depression. And why? Because I was really set into my kind of, well, when I went to burnout was because I was not looking after my body enough, you know? So I was really traveling, doing and so forth, and really focused about achieving and about being a perfect mom and everything. But, you know, my body kind of, I was not looking after enough. And I actually solved that, actually becoming a yoga teacher, learning to look after my body. But then, you know, as well, there is the mindset. So the mindset, that is something that, you know, when we talk about mental illness or mental health or stress or like frustration or depression or, you know, or kind of all the emotional states which we don't like to be in, which are this kind of state of disempowerment, you know, we need to be really, really aware of what we are thinking, because our minds are unlimited. They can push us low or push us high. So from the moment in which we understand that, then we can learn to respect our needs. Our minds are powerful, but we need to respect it. What our minds tell us is not always right. You know, sometimes we have voices inside that must be undermining voices. So how do we actually go and look after these undermining voices? Is with self-care. Okay, self-care, because of course, you know, if our fight flight system is active, you know, then our brain just does not work. The quality of the thoughts that we actually are, you know, are having is completely different than when we are happy. And I'm sure you can relate to that. I mean, can you be creative? When was the last time that you've had a good idea, for example, about your business? Was it when you were stressed, or when was it when you had maybe a nice drink with a colleague or with a client? Or was it, you know, was it maybe when you were out for a walk? Or was it actually when you were like really tense trying to solve something? So you can achieve, you know, things in very different way. If you are really tense and, you know, maybe you get that much result, sometimes if you let go and kind of leave it there and just take time off and you look after yourself, then that's where your mind actually can perform at its best. And there is a lot of scientific research around that. So your body is very clever. It has been made in harmony with nature. So whether you're aware or not, it will give you signs if things are not the way they should be. And that's as well, you know, and your brain is actually part of the body. You know, we think so much, but our brain is a physical organ that needs to be looked after. And for that, the body, as it's part of the body needs to be looked after too. And it's awareness about your body, but it's awareness about your mindset as well. Because only that way you can become really the leader of your own life. I like to use that word, but to me, just like kind of taking ownership of your life and actually being able to achieve these goals that you know, that maybe some people think they are aspiring or like they are inspirational. To me, they are not inspirational or aspiring. They are just things that everyone can achieve as long as they put their mind to it. And actually, they are mindful about their body and about how things, you know, in nature actually they work. Okay, so the other thing is to value your clear vision. So we've all have a vision. we all are different. There is something really special about each one of us, something really, really special that very often we do not see from the moment which we do not have clarity. But from the moment there is clarity in your head about what you can do to make your life easier, you can act on it. So it's about learning actually these kind of, well, these what this is all about. So it's about our emotions, it's about our body, it's about, yes, you know, the security, the financial security, but as well it's about being surrounded by nice people. You know, at the end of the day, in order to manage your time mindfully, and you know, to get the best results, you need to have people around you that support you, because that way it's kind of a, you know, you get into the right circle, because you have joy, you are happy, and actually you have, you know, you are surrounded by the right people and so forth, and you get more results, you know. So one thing is that do not get fooled by others' visions. It is their own, okay? So again, about the hypnotic suggestion, the conditioning, you know, so often, especially now on social media, I see posts that are so kind of, you know, let's say of fear mongers or anything like this. And no one maybe knows what to do next and what is going to happen and so forth. And I think, and I don't know either. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping for the best, and I'm, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, it's about focusing on what you want. What is it that you want out of your life? What is it that you want as a result from your organization? How can you see the opportunity in all of this? Because the opportunities are there actually, and you know that because people, you know, very often it's in times of crisis that actually the bigger companies have actually made money. As you've actually, it is clear that when there is a reshuffle, when there are, you know, when there is kind of, you know, when the you know, a static system, like a little bit, well, it wasn't static, but it's always in a dynamic movement. But when you have a system that gets completely disruptive, then at that moment you have new gaps that are actually created. So you need to have the clarity in your head, but you need to know what you can give, what your organization can give, or what you as a person, you know, either you are in your organization, if you're already an entrepreneur, or if you are like a leader in your organization, or whatever is the role in your organization, or if you are someone that wants to set up themselves, you know, and become really an entrepreneur, you really need to know yourself what you can give, and so go through all this process of analysis of what are, you know, of what it is that is your vision. So something else, express and breathe. So an idea just remains an idea until you decide to focus on it and develop a vision or a strategy, and your vision is for the future, okay? We can talk about experience, right? You know, some people start to, you know, I can hear people talking about economic downturns and experiences that's happened in the past. But to me, it's really funny about all of that, because it seems that we learn only from what, you know, from certain things and not from others, but we don't learn from the most important things. You know, to me, it's about taking time and space to act and think mindfully. So again, if you reconnect with your vision and with your own idea, you know, from the moment in which you start to realize that a lot of what is given to us is actually the result of hypnotic suggestion, even from what we've got as an upbringing. I mean, I've got loads and loads from when I grew up, both for the fact that I was a woman, but as well, you know, so I was, you know, I just was supposed to cook more and look after the house more than any, you know, more than my brother, which I used to get really annoyed about, or more about the fact that actually in order to achieve, you need to be in a certain way, and you need to act in a certain way, you need to behave in a certain way. But hang on a second, it's time then to realize and that you can actually speak your truth, that people not necessarily are there to judge you, but it's overcoming that fear of actually be and see and actually act of what you think is right, even if maybe you will have some people that will say oh no, but you will always have some people that will say oh no. And actually you might be surprised that when, especially in times like now, when actually people are looking and desperate for some sort of safety and some sort of willingness to actually to hope again and to see and to view things differently, more than ever now, ideas that have got, that are positive, that are full of love, that are full of hope, that are full of, all that positivity that we are all after, all that well-being that we are all after, then they are more welcome now than ever. So just to wrap this up, because again it's 40 minutes in, and it was supposed to be 30 minutes, but I know this is quite a big topic, and I just wanted to give you as much context as possible, and to take with you and to cherish. And another thing is that to love yourself first, right? If you do not put yourself first, who should? Think about your mindset again. Think about all these kind of voices that you've got it inside that tells you how inadequate you are and how much more you should actually do, how much more actually, how much more that person is doing that you are not doing, and so forth. Direct your growth mindset towards your personal desire. I mean, now, for example, there is so much around, in terms of as well, free education and so forth. Just pick it carefully. Do not waste your time. Do not go after, again, do not necessarily think that you need to learn so many more things. Sometimes the research that you need to do is a little bit more different. It's more like an inward as well research that needs to be done. That must be, it might be more about managing, how you manage your time, how you manage your life in a different way, and when you take action from a place of deep respect and love for yourself. Because if you do not do it yourself, how can you expect, one, that clients come to you, two, that people respect you, and three, how can you actually be happy yourself, whatever thing you have, if you actually do not have deep respect for what you do, what you offer, and who you are? Okay, so that's certainly, very, very important. So let's speak a bit about mindful action, and then we will with just a few minutes more. So mindful action. In order to take mindful action, I've got some ideas here for you just to reflect upon. Train your brain. Okay, train your brain, work on your mindset, be aware of what you think. That's so important, because that can be the key to your success or to your failure. And I can tell you, more often than not, the worst enemy, when we think we are blaming someone else, the worst enemy is actually ourselves. Be aware of your fears and desires. It's very, very important. If you do not know what you're scared of, or what you really want, how can you get it? It's impossible. How can you set that as an outcome? Understand your body. So learn to listen to your body. So it's not about becoming a yoga teacher. There is no need for that, but it's about having the basics of understanding the body, how it works, the signals, because that way as well you can connect, for example, with your intuition, with your creative, with the most creative side of yourself that is there, but often not tapped on. Learn well, learn more mindfully. Sorry, I've just done there is a misspell there that I didn't spot. So learn more mindfully. So when you learn something, just ask why, okay? Because sometimes we get into this kind of mode of wanting to know more, especially we go on social media, we do all this course, we do all everything. But why do you do that? Why is it that you do that? Just be mindful about that. What does it achieve towards your goal? Be an inspiring, better leader. What does it mean to be an inspiring, better leader? Well, first of all, you need to be inspiring to yourself. So it goes back to actually what I was mentioning before about falling in love with yourself, because if you don't do that, it's impossible. So it's that kind of action towards taking, positive self-care towards yourself, self-care for your mind and for your body, so that actually all your action, all what you do every day, you actually, that you've done your best, so even when you go to bed, and you've got your to-do list, oh my God, I've done all what I wanted, or I've got most what I wanted, or yeah, maybe I couldn't do all what I wanted because I'd set myself a goal which was very high. However, despite that, I know I've done my best. Okay, that means that you can make the difference, but you can make the difference not just in your life, but as well in other people's life. So actually, you can make it with your clients, you can make it with your colleagues, you can make it with your family, you can make it with anyone else that is actually in touch with you. And I talk in my book about Enlightened Leader. I like to think that, people before in the yoga philosophy, they used to think that enlightened people, they need to live on a mountain and actually meditate all day to reach that kind of state of enlightenment. Well, my theory is very different. We can all be enlightened from the moment in which we're actually aware of our actions, our thoughts, and our emotions, so that we can actually use that awareness to build and to create what we want. So all of that, just to conclude, is always remember to start your day with purpose. Because if you start your day with purpose, with an outcome, just with a good intention, that's where, where actually, you can really make the difference. So it's nearly 50 minutes now into the masterclass. So I really hope that you've really enjoyed this masterclass and you found good value and good points of discussions in it. I would really, really love your feedback, especially if you would like to share with me like the answers to the questions that I've asked. And I am on Facebook. You can find me, my personal account, or otherwise Severine Obertelli Coaching. I am on LinkedIn. I am on Instagram. And of course, you can find me, on my email address, severinobertelli@gmail.com. So as I mentioned before, I'm a coach and consultant. I work on mindset, but as well on innovative practices and so forth. If you have any questions, just please, or any feedback, I would absolutely love that. I would love to hear from you, and I would yes, and I hope to be able to again carry on working. I think I'll be on Friday in participate to another event here at WHTT. So please, if you have any worries about mindset, about how to manage your time more mindfully, just connect with me or post it onto the WHTT LinkedIn group, and I will be more than happy just to answer to any of your questions. So thank you very much, everyone. And I will pass back now to Rita, and just to salute. And thank you very much, everyone, for your time. Bye-bye.